Champions Cup round of 16. 5 more teams have been eliminated. 5 more teams are going through. You can see a couple of these results went down over 2 legs to within 1 point. We saw a handful of red cards this week as well. But anyway, we'll go through some key events, some stats, how the teams are lining up for the quarterfinals, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on the games. The first one I didn't see in full, Harlequins and Montpellier. 59-60 on aggregate. Montpellier manages to just hang on thanks to a Marcus Smith missed conversion at the death in this game. One of his easiest kicks of the night, man. That's a brutal one. I know he's going to cop all kinds of flack online, but plenty of good kickers have missed kind of key kicks before in the past. It was a real try-fest, this one. Hugh Jones gets one in the first minute. Don Brunt with the line break. Forsan sets up Rayak with a nice offload kind of 10 minutes later. Don Brunt gets one for himself, but probably the try maybe of the round goes to Marchant on 28 minutes. It's Pollard kicking for touch into the Quins 22. Danny Kerr manages to somehow keep it in the field of play. They get it to Smith, who charges up the field. He gets it to, who was it, Murley? And then Murley gets it to Marchant to finish it off. It is legit bonkers, and if you haven't seen it, it's well worth going to have a look at it, because I certainly haven't done it justice. But it was a phenomenal, phenomenal try, well worth the price of admission. It's 28-17 at halftime with Quins with that lead. But yeah, they're still having to chase the game down, because remember they had that 14-point deficit coming into this game, so they still had the pressure on. Montpellier had a yellow card under pressure. Harlequins should have been in front on the board with that final try to Liner on 74 minutes, but like I mentioned, he just couldn't get that one inside the sticks, and yeah, they couldn't get it done at the death. So I feel for the Quins guys, but man, congratulations to Montpellier for holding on. With the amount of changes they made to their side, a lot of people were writing them off, but they've managed to just hold on. Run meters finished 339 to 198, obviously in Quins' favour. Turnovers are apparently 9-0. Turnovers 1, 9-0 to Quins. If that's true, that's amazing. 16 penalties conceded by Montpellier to Harlequins 7. So by all accounts, Quins, I mean, I guess that's a 13-point win. So that's pretty solid, but could have been even a bit more. Smith, Murley, Liner, all 40-plus run meters. Beckhockney, the number 8. 16 from 16 tackles in a losing effort, but a winning one over 2 legs. So, yeah, Montpellier will face La Rochelle in an all-French affair. And that is all she wrote for the Quins boys. Speaking of La Rochelle, they ended up playing Bordeaux, and they beat them again. This one I didn't watch in full either, because I figured this one would probably not be decided today. I figured it was most likely decided last week, and so it was. La Rochelle getting a 31-23 win means it's 62-36 on aggregate, so never really in doubt this one. I mean, the main talking point of this one will be the Vaipulu red card on 25 minutes, which is a just dumb shoulder charge off the ball, dangerous. I mean, people say the 20-minute red cards make people do dangerous stuff. Well, this was not a 20-minute red card. This was just dumb. Yeah, like some red cards you can look, that's unlucky, that's bad technique. This one ain't that. That's just dumb. Yeah, real bad red card. So I don't even know if he got him in the head, but it's with force off the ball. It's totally unnecessary. So doesn't do his side any favors. It's 6-3 at halftime. So pretty low scoring. But then we do get some try scoring in the second half. Ihaya West shows what pace he's got. He's always had some wheels. So he goes through for La Rochelle's first one. Aldrit always loves a carry, and he gets their second one. Bordeaux do get one back through, what's his name, Massé? That one they had some pretty good hands in the build-up from memory. It was a nice little dink through as well. So at least that got them, a try on the board. But then the reply through for La Rochelle was pretty much instantaneous. 2 minutes later, Maury gets one at the death as a consolation for La Rochelle, and Botia had one as well through their own kind of little dink through. So yeah, man, it's pretty comfortable. There's not much to say about 62-36 at the end of the day. Run meters 263 to 301, so Bordeaux actually edged that. They also have 6 clean breaks to La Rochelle's 2, so that's positive numbers, but defenders beaten 12-9 to La Rochelle. West and Dante, 53 run meters. He had a real good line break to set up one of the tries to Dante. Bocaton, the number 6 for Bordeaux, had 13 from 14 tackles, which is not too bad as well. But yeah, there you go. La Rochelle and Montpellier, all French affair, coming up in the quarterfinals. The next one, Munster and Exeter. I did watch this one in full because I figured it would be close. And it's maybe a little bit more of a result than we predicted, eh? 16 points, 26-10, which makes it 34-23 on aggregate, which is still pretty comfortable at the end. Like, Munster didn't really look like losing this one. They played really well, despite the fact that Conor Murray got yellow carded early for not getting back to 10 when Exeter took a quick tap and Maunda went over for that first try. So I guess they were kind of looking in a little bit of trouble early, but not really. It was still such early days that you knew there was a lot of rugby left to be played. Exeter kicking it dead didn't help when Munster had the man in the bin. And to be fair, the one note that I wrote, which I think stands out from this game, is that Munster's ability to get turnovers on defence is phenomenal. That's pretty much second to none. Like, Peter Amani alone gets 3. He gets man of the match in one of the easiest man of the match decisions I think you will ever see. But how many times will Munster under pressure and they just pull a turnover out of the hat? Like, they are so good at that. Like, I know Van Graan gets a lot of stick, but whatever they're doing around that area of the game, they are certainly doing that right. Plus, Carberry gets a nice try, which is really pleasing to see. He threw a kind of nice dummy and went over, so yeah, really good. Good to see that man coming into a bit of form as well. Jack Noel was in the crowd in a Munster jersey, which was interesting. I think he was on a stag do or something I read online, but that was rather hilarious. Hilarity ensued when they zoomed in on him in his Munster jersey. But yeah, the crowd were just well into this game, eh? The crowd were, I don't know, just absolutely get behind the boys. I mean, they did get one back though, did Exeter. They missed the penalty before half time, but they went for the tap, not the 3 on 48 minutes, and Vermeulen ended up going over. So that's kind of typical Exeter. They're able to do that with their forwards. So that was back to game on. Aggregate was 23-21, Exeter in front. But yeah, Munster tapped the penalties over. Again, it's at the breakdown. And then the last try, my note in all capitals just says unbelievable. Like, speaking of unbelievable tries, the Damon Del Ende one, yeah, it's a bit of magic, isn't it? Because it looks like they've fluffed it. Zebo is out on the left wing, all on his own, and he wants the ball, and they don't get it to him for ages. They finally get it to him, and it's a pretty awful ball. He's well behind where he can score from. Like, he's not in a position to score. He's not coming onto the ball at pace. It's not a flat pass. He still has a go for the line. You're thinking, bro, you're going straight into touch. You've just wasted an opportunity. But somehow he gets closer than he has rights to get to that line. And then he manages to get that passed away to Damon Del Ende. That is, like, mind-blowing. And that's the game. That's absolutely the game, because they were already ahead based on the penalties they kicked over. So, yeah, that one is essentially the game. And, yeah, they managed to get the result 26-10. Pleasing stuff if you're a Munster fan. I mean, they set up the groundwork by getting as close as they did last week, and this week we're able to just kind of push through. So, yeah, Exeter weren't quite able to bring enough firepower to bust through that Munster defence, eh? It was maybe they're missing Sam Simmons. He's always such a vital cog in their machine. But anyway, turnovers finish 8-3. Turnovers 1. Remember, Peter Amani got 3, so he got the same amount as Exeter as a team. Penalties considered 8 apiece is pretty low. Munster have to make 213 tackles to 104, so it's not like Exeter weren't in the game. They had a chance. It was just Munster's defence. Peter Amani also makes 14 out of 14 tackles. Jack O'Donoghue makes 21 out of 21. O'Flaherty, dangerous, probably the most dangerous in terms of just pure run meterage. 104 run meters is a pretty solid shift, but in a losing effort. So Munster will take on Toulouse after they managed to also turn around their first league deficit. But we'll get to that one in a second, because before that was Leicester and Clermont. I also only caught highlights of this one because same deal as the La Rochelle Bordeaux game. It was probably one that wasn't going to finish close. The aggregate score is 56-27, so it's not close. 27-17. I mean, on its own, 10 points is not a big old hiding. It's a pretty close game, but yeah, over the course of the game, Leicester had basically set themselves up from last week to put themselves in a pretty comfortable position. The highlights package is a weird one because LEIvCLE busts over early, 7-0. Clermont kick a penalty, and the Clermont penalty's on like 14 minutes or something, 16 minutes. And then the next highlight they jump to is 49 minutes. So goodness knows what happened between them, but it wasn't a lot of try scoring. The try on 49 minutes to Scott is a pretty good one, to be fair. There were, despite the red cards this week, there were some pretty tasty tries in the Champions Cup this week. George Ford to Rochelle to Scott, the hands for that one are, I mean, they're not as good as the Quins or the Munster tries, to be fair, but it's pretty class. So it's right up there. 15-3, good lead for the Leicester boys. But, I mean, Clermont shows some good hands to get one through Rucker. Fritz Lee gets one as well. He seemed to be tearing it up in terms of the amount of running he was doing. But, yeah, there's another, speaking of magic tries, I almost forgot about it, the Steward one on 65. And that dude, Harry Potter, gets the magic jokes made about him all the time. But this one was genuine magic, man. He gets a line break in his own half. And he's just evading tacklers for fun. No, shouldn't, at this level, he shouldn't be able to do that kind of thing. But it is legit crazy. And he ends up getting the ball to Stewart, who just kind of has to cruise over. But it's all Potter in the build-up. So you take your pick of the Marchant try, the Dale Indy try, or the Stewart try. And to be fair, the last guy who gets the try isn't the one who really made the try. It was just the support line. The magic was in the build-up to those tries, but they're all really, really good. So certainly good viewing. That makes it 27-10. They do get one back through Lee, like I mentioned at the end, to make it 27-17. But Clermont were never really in a position to turn this game around. Clean break 65, 6-2-5. Tackles made 180 to 78. So Clermont putting the Leicester defence under a bit more pressure, but they conceded more penalties, 15 to Leicester's 11. Potter, 74 run metres. Stewart, 95 run metres. Rochelle, 18 from 20 tackles, so some good performances from some key men. Tabergian, I always forget how to pronounce his name, the fullback for Clermont, 108 run metres, 4 offloads, not bad. It seemed to be involved a lot from the highlights. And Lee, 93 run metres. So, yeah, Leicester, leading the Premiership, will face URC leaders Leinster. So that's going to be a fun one, and look out for the Twitter hashtags as it's LEIvLEI. I think most of us put an N on Leinster to distinguish the two teams, but there you go. And the last one, oh, I forgot to mention the red card. Chesham got red carded as well in a weekend which was kind of full of red cards. His one seemed to be more, well, it was certainly not as bad as the Vaipulu one, but it's still red because it's shoulder to head, basically. So, despite the fact that they had a red card for 15 minutes, Leicester still managed to get that one done, but he'll get a ban for several weeks for sure. The final game, Ulster and Toulouse, also comes down to 1 point, just like the Quins and Montpellier game. And just like that game, it's the French side away from home who managed to get it done. Different circumstances though, because this one was Toulouse having to turn the game around after losing the first league. Montpellier was just trying to hold on, but the crowd was really loud in this one. Maybe the loudest of these 5 games, I'm not sure. Very vocal though. Absolutely. They quietened down a few times when Toulouse were kicking on, but to be fair, Toulouse was a wee bit loose with some of their play in this game as well. They certainly, I think Toulouse can play better than that. There was another game with a red card, so kind of all action stuff this game. 3-0 early to Toulouse with a penalty. Harlequins gets a yellow card. He doesn't get much ball in this game, eh? Takes out Geelong in the air, and then Toulouse get a yellow card. Delib gets yellow card for tipping McElroy in a tackle. 14v14, bit of extra space. Dupont coughs up the ball. Ulster punished them with McElroy's first try. Hume in the build-up to that one. Phenomenal stuff for the Ulster guys. 7-3. But then 7-6 with a no clear release. 10-6 with another penalty. It's offside from Toulouse with some messy passing. So yeah, not quite firing on all cylinders, I felt. But then 21 minutes. Ramos ends up getting a try, and it's Intermac. He's a key man in 2 of these tries, isn't he? Like, how important was Intermac into getting them through to the quarterfinals in this one? Intermac with the step, the line break gets it to Dupont, who gets it to Ramos. So 13-10, but still behind on aggregate at that point. But then Intermac again, he intercepts Cooney's pass, which was meant for McCloskey, and he's got some wheels for a 10. And yeah, that legit puts Toulouse back in front, 20 points to 10, aggregates 40 points to 36 at that stage. But if you were looking for magic, and as I said, there's been a few magic tries, the McElroy run, second one, was also pretty good, because the Billy Burns cross kick, maybe a touch too high, was pretty good. A touch too high for McElroy, but one-handed manages to keep that thing down and go over in the corner. Yeah, exquisite finish from McElroy for that one. He was looking, you know, in proper good form for a guy who didn't even play last week. So 17 points to 20 behind on the scoreboard, but ahead on aggregate. They even it up with a penalty before half-time. Lowry took out Ramos in the air, but they ruled that one was square, just a rugby incident, that one. So we're a bit lucky because we've seen a few guys get in trouble for the aerial takes this week, but nothing doing for that one, and that's half-time. Second half, Toulouse, they do start to turn the screws a bit. They get a penalty to go 23-20 in front on the day, but they're still behind. And then, yeah, then the moment happens. O'Toole on Geelong. Again, Geelong's the target of these cards, isn't he? It happened when he was in Australia as well. Australia got red carded for taking out Geelong. Must be something about him. It's shoulder to the head. Shoulder to the head is red. So we see these loads of times, and it's kind of no different from that one. Ulster do manage to kick a penalty during the red card, though, to keep that 6-point aggregate lead. And Toulouse throwing some crazy loose passes. They lose their own line out. It doesn't look like it's going to be firing for them. But eventually, on 74, Dupont does manage to get that try. They go wide. They come back to the midfield. And Dupont manages to just beat his man and goes over. So that's what puts them ahead. One measly point. And one measly point is enough. So certainly not Toulouse's finest hour, and Ulster will be gutted that they had to play with a red card and a yellow card, albeit with Toulouse getting a yellow card as well to kind of cancel it out. But man, it's about as close as it gets. They'll be gutted about that Cooney pass, which got picked off. On another day, Ulster could have won it, but yeah, Toulouse, they are the reigning champions for a reason, man. Even when they don't play 100%, they can still beat you. So possession 57-43 to Ulster. Territories 51-49, so pretty close. Clean breaks pretty low compared to some of the other games today. 2 with Toulouse, 1 with Ulster. Turnovers conceded 18 by Toulouse to 12 by Ulster, so a little bit of loose handling from the French side. Intermac, though, 103 run meters, 2 clean breaks. McElroy, 56 run meters. Lowry, 88 run meters. Alstad makes 29 tackles. He misses 4, but that is massive. But, yeah, Munster await Toulouse, which could be a pretty interesting one. So, yeah, interesting games. As I mentioned, a couple of them 1-pointers over 2 legs. Munster turn around their first game deficit to power through. And then Leicester and La Rochelle kind of getting expected wins. You guys let me know your thoughts. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.